Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim, and I'm jumping onto the bandwagon, and I'm going to do some Christmas-themed horror movie reviews. I've been binge watching, finding some really fun movies this year that released in 2022. I'm not going to do any of the classics, although I do enjoy those, but there have been at least 5 2022 Christmas horror movies that I can think of right off the top of my head. One of them is Christmas, Bloody Christmas. And this is on Shudder. And it's got a 5.2 star rating on IMDb already, and I think it's just going to grow. I'm probably going to end up having enjoyed this movie the most. The premise is that it's Christmas Eve, and Tony just wants to get drunk and party, and that's Tony with an I. It's Tori, actually, if I could use my bifocals correctly. I don't know why as soon as I said Tony, I was like, that doesn't sound right. It's Tori. She just wants to get drunk and party when a robotic Santa Claus at a nearby toy store goes haywire and begins a rampant killing spree through her small town. She's forced into battle for survival. This was directed and written by Joe Bagos. Stars Riley Dandy, and she is Tori Toombs. Robbie Reynolds is played by Sam Delich, and those are the two main characters. Jeff Daniel Phillips is also in this, and he plays Sheriff Monroe. There's some other characters too, but again, Tori Toombs, played by Riley Dandy, is the main character, so to speak. It opens up with this really fun Channel 83 retro TV commercial opening. It's really fun. Then there's you hear also, it gives you the backstory of the Santa within this little montage opening where there's a news clip of the military having used these robotic robots for military purposes, but the company that makes them is now expanding out into why not let everyone enjoy the fun of these robots. So they've created these Santa Clauses out of these robots, and they make a point to say they have all these different vocabularies and everything else, and where you can find one. And then we go into this really rocking record shop, and I believe that was owned by the character Tori. She goes in and she's having dialogue. It's Christmas Eve, the place is packed, people buying presents and whatever. We meet 2 of her friends and one of her, I believe it was a co-worker, I might have missed whether or not they said, and that was Robbie Reynolds. Then we spend a lot of time between Tori and Robbie. And I guess we're just establishing their kind of sexual tension, that they're very flirtatious. She is getting ready for a Christmas Eve date from Tinder. He's trying to talk her out of it. They go back and forth between some drinking and some smoking. So they go to a bar, the friends. One of them must have worked at the toy shop where the Santa is. We do get some bare butts. That's about it for nudity, but it doesn't take very long for the Santa to come to life, or, whatever, go on its killing spree. While Tori and Robbie are at the bar on the TV, there is very quickly a little news report about how those AI Santa robot store mall Santas have been recalled. So we get that little bit, and then Tori says, "Can you change this?" It was very Tom Atkins from Halloween 3. I immediately, between the setup of the bar, where the TV was, and then what she said after the news, I thought, oh, I don't know if that was intentional or if it's just me wanting to find Easter eggs like that. It's not often you find an Easter egg like that for Halloween 3, but I think it was. So while they're at the bar, we get our first kill. Santa does his thing. I don't want to give too much spoiler away because this movie I highly recommend you guys watching. One thing that I did notice about the filming style was that the camera is always moving. It's either like turning at angles slowly, or it's just fluid, and it doesn't really ever stay still focused, which is fine. It didn't do that. If you are triggered by the F word, this movie will not be for you. If you can handle a lot of blood and a lot of violent killing, because there's a lot of blood in this and a lot of, action killing, but the F-bomb, I actually noticed it myself, but then doing the little research on IMDb, it's actually one of those little trivia things. But the F-bomb was said 487 times. That's 5.6 per minute times that the F word was used. And that's almost all from the main character, Tori. There's a lot of really cool Santa POV. The Santa itself looks really cool. It's got the entire movie has a 80s slasher Christmas movie vibe to it. There's so many Christmas lights. Like this town, every house, every inside of a store or bar got decked out with Christmas lights. The electric bill for this movie alone was probably crazy. So we get Tori and Robbie. They've been drinking enough to where they're like, let's just come over to my place, Tori says, and we'll finish a bottle and blah blah blah. So there's like a musical montage little thing while they're kind of traveling, and then the musical montage, when they get home, they start to like make out, and they do the classic starting to slowly get undressed as they go up the stairs while they're trying to kiss, and they're trying to frantically take off their clothes. I don't mind that, even though that is a repetitive montage. That one you don't see too much. In between the clips of them, we see the Santa robot going and doing some more killing and things like that. Again, really fun, vintagey feel, like 80s feel, like almost like you were watching the movie and you didn't have your TV set to 1080p and you had it set like to 360p maybe. So like a little fuzzy, a little grainy, but it really, really worked for this. So once they get through that montage and there is a extremely intense sex scene, but the sex scene is just going downtown to Chinatown. It's the JJ buffet. That's all I'm going to say about that, but it's related to conversation earlier between the two of them. So while all that's going on, the Santa robot's just making its way through, doing a lot of killing. Then it gets really fast-paced. This movie kind of has Shaun of the Dead vibes, Terminator vibes, mixed in with just, like a Christmas movie. We get some classic, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit because I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Like, we do get the classic, when they finally realize what's going on, they go to the police station to, say, hey, there's a killer Santa robot, and then the police force does their thing, and everybody gets slaughtered. There's a lot of action toward that third act, the final act, and there's a very explosive conclusion, and I'm not talking about the JJ buffet, even though that also had an epic conclusion. Yeah, so it definitely... So the ending for me like when I thought it was over, I was fine with that. But then they do that Terminator trick to you where, because it's a robot and whatever else, it kind of keeps going. It just keeps going. So that happens like a couple more times, and probably we didn't need it, but it is definitely fun. But it did put the thought into my head that there are more than just this one Santa robot. So if this one Santa robot becomes extinguished, there are other ones out there. So this could open up into a series of movies, possibly, in my opinion. So that would be interesting. So yeah, highly recommend this. A very, very good Bloody Christmas. Christmas Bloody Christmas is a very accurate title for this. It's only 87 minutes. It's on Shudder. If you have Shudder, it's going to be right on the featured part, front and center for you. If you've seen this, let me know what you think in the comments below, or let me know what your favorite holiday slasher is. And yeah, keep checking back. I'm going to be doing more holiday reviews and my normal stuff. Thanks.
So have your dream. Go on and sing your song. There's nothing wrong